Hello, it's Fran Davidson from psychicandenergywork.com.au, and this video comes out of a conversation I had with a student yesterday about 2025. Why am I doing that in November? Because in a sense, 2025, of course, it's a unique period. Every year, every day, every second is a unique period. But sometimes we can struggle with a phase simply because it's not the norm. It's not what usually happens, and therefore it can feel a bit unfair, a bit unkind. What I want to highlight there is the fact that this is the 5-year in the cycle 2020. That's really important to say, and I don't often observe about this, but it's probably a really good thing to do more often, in that, okay, it's 2025, but it is, again, the 5-year in the period, in the decade 2020. Now, what that means, in part, what it highlights is the fact that 2020, the 202 part of the years that we're in at the moment in this current decade, we're sort of used to. We're getting the hang of. We're 5 years into it. They started at 2020, didn't they? So what that means for the period 2020, from 2020 to 2030, in a sense, every year, what can speak to us loudest is the end digit, because that is the thing that is making the year different from the period that was just before. So why I highlight this is because 5 can be a challenge, 5 can be stretching, 5 can be demanding. One of the things we were discussing yesterday is the fact that 5 isn't a period that lets you rest. And what I mean by that, I'm not saying, hello, there's no sleep at all, but 5 is the period where things are being spun, things are being mixed up, chaos is happening, things are out of control. And that might be physically in the real world, as in physical world, as a physical experience, tangible experience, but it can also be very much on the energetic level. One of the hallmarks of this year has been the fact that it has just been relentless in things to address, things to deal with. Like there's been a barrage of, I don't know, you could say a snowstorm, just a barrage of hailstorms. You know, you just get used to the fact that that one hit and you dealt with it, when another one comes and pushes you over or pulls you sideways, or whatever the analogy might be. But 5 is the period that is the spin. 5 is change. 5 is flux. 5 is therefore a period that helps us let go of the constancy we were in, not necessarily because it was wrong or bad, but because in a sense 5 is the marker of change. It's the heralder of the new period. In other words, it is the trigger, it is the vibe that clears the room to then create the space for the room called the life or the journey or even the self to begin again on some level. Because on one level, 5 is rebirth. 5 is reboot. And so again, another analogy for 5 is a bit like going for a swim at a surf beach where the waves roll in, and maybe there's a bit of a rip, but it's more of a surf beach rather than a gentle sort of rolling, easy tide. So 5 can be the period where you're in the water, you love doing this stuff, you're pretty good at, riding the waves and swimming in the waves, and yet here comes a wave that you know is going to roll you. You know is going to dunk you. And yet 5 is, over and above all these analogies, 5 is you can do it. Life does support you. Life will help you. It is right now. And there is no reason why you can't survive, you can't make it, you can't achieve your goals, whatever they happen to be. In one sense too, 5 is the period where the universe says, I know your goals, but actually, you know what? To achieve them, you need to actually sort of declutter. You almost like we need to spin you round and round so the bandages of the past unravel so that you become a clear spool for now, a clear bobbin, you with me, a clear cylinder or vessel, channel around which the new you or the attainment of your path can now start to spin and gather to make that a experienced and therefore lived, attained outcome moving forward. So 5 periods, like in numerology, 5 is the busy period. In one sense, it is the busiest period, and it is the first really intensely busy period in a way that I don't have time to rest. I don't even have time to assimilate everything, in a way that the sensation can feel like, I've got all these butterflies buzzing around my head, and it's not because I'm not making no progress or no sense of or no breakthrough, but you know what? The volume of the butterflies, in other words, the dynamics, the events, the things that are pulling us off center, as in the center that we had to actually help us find our center moving forward, the center that we need, that is about resilience, strength, self-awareness, and knowledge that, again, life is flow, go with the flow, breathe to go with the flow, let go of your head, especially if it's negative. So 5 in the numerological cycle is the period before 6. Yeah, obviously. So 6 is the period we get to rest. If I put that into another analogy, 5 is the period where you're out in the garden churning the soil, really working hard to attain the goal. It's a period of hard yakka. Now, that's not me saying that 5 periods are only negative or horrible or hard work. It's also a time when a whole lot of beautiful change comes in. And you could argue that for a lot of people, this year has brought a lot of self-awareness for all the stretching. Like, life only stretches to bring us into a new awareness, and therefore a greater awareness of the landscape we're in, and therefore the possibilities and potentials that are right in front of us. Yeah, but we've been too busy, or we haven't just been able to see them before. We've just been building to this moment to be able to see. So 5 does us a big favor. But 5 isn't about assimilate it all in a way that you can say, I've done it, I've got it. Yeah, I can rest now. It's over. Yeah. Now, at this point, November, why am I recording this? Because it's possible that you're sort of still struggling with the fact that, hello, why am I failing? Why aren't things solid? Why aren't things sorted? Why do things just keep coming at me in a way that I don't feel together? Maybe I'm feeling a bit like a failure. Yeah, or I've been stuffing up, just like life is just meh, whatever those words are, to the degree that you've been feeling a bit flat, a bit tired, a bit down on yourself, or even about your future. Hello, I still don't know where all of this is leading me. This is very much the dynamic of a 5-year, because 5 is the spin. Yeah, and therefore, again, when we're in the spin, the last thing we can hope for is a total sense of why, or a total sense of closure for what we've been experiencing. That doesn't mean that we don't have a sense of, you know what, I'm making my way through it. Yeah, I can see the value in it. Mm-hmm. But 5 periods are such where it is not a time to rest or feel as if I've got it, I've done it. Now I can walk free from it as a fully or more conscious, affirmed, ready to get going and implement what I've just learned sort of cycle. 5, if I come back to that ocean analogy, it is the time that rolls us with the wave. We go under the water, in a way that, all right, we're not quite sure whether we'll float, but we will if we breathe. We will if we remember to breathe, especially as the wave approaches or even as it is. And so, therefore, again, really the point of this video is ease up on you, ease up on life. Remember that any negative chatter, any negative mantras, they are the egoic self talking, and egoic self can only see so far, so wide. It's very good at getting pessimistic, turning in on itself, criticizing, attacking, undermining, losing faith, becoming depressed. This has been a toughie. It's here about change, and therefore, in one sense, you could say this year has been the first year that is about activating into all the change that is the future, as in year after year after year after year, ongoing change, that we've been required to make. So this, in a sense, it's the most intense period. After 5, we get to 6. We get to rest. We get to sit on the veranda, the balcony, the porch, even in the garden, and just go, wow, look at that work. I'm tired. Maybe I'm exhausted. But now I'm starting to heal. Now I'm starting to assimilate. Oh my goodness, that's why that happened. That's the value in that. Look at all that work I did. Wow, I'm pleased with my effort. Gee, I'm doing well. So hopefully this video helps you a little bit. Place the harshness of 5. 5 feels harsh because in one sense it's here to strip. It's here to strip the unconscious, the subconscious, the stuff that usually often we're too busy to get to, or even too comfy to need to get to. 5 comes along a bit like a bathroom cleanser, and it wipes to the edges, And the whole purpose of that is to get us more on track than we were in a very exact 100% way to the next degree, so that every step forward we move forward with, I can, life is, it's going to, life will, I will, I'm ready to move forward. Take good care, travel well, let me know how you go with this and ask questions always. Have a good month.